Hi, welcome to the DIY Photo Organising podcast. I'm Fiona from Photo Helper.
And I'm Chantal from Simply in Order Photo Organising. Imagine you can find any photo at any time at the click of a button. We are here to show you how.
So let's get started. Hi, and welcome to another episode of our DIY Photo Organising podcast. It's lovely to have you all here and listening. Hi, Chantal, how are you?
Hi Fiona, I'm good. How are you?
Very good, very good. All right, so today we have we're jumping back into some more of our listener questions, which is wonderful. So I'm going to start straight up and ask Chantal one of these listener questions. So the question that we had come through was, what is your experience with Amazon Drive for storing images? So you want to tackle that one, Chantal, and let us know what your thoughts are?
Well, I'll try.
Okay.
Okay, so the first thing that actually comes to mind with that question is that they say storing the images, and knowing that Amazon Drive is of course the cloud, which means we don't own it even if we pay for it possibly. We in general don't recommend to keep or to store photos in the cloud in terms of your original. However, we do of course recommend to use it as a backup, and I think Amazon Drive can really be used as a cloud backup for your photos, and set up in an easy way that as soon as you add more photos to a specific folder, maybe on your computer, it will back them up to Amazon Drive and you've got it up there as a backup copy. I think this is not coming for free. You have to be an Amazon Prime member. They change things constantly, so I'm not 100% sure how it is set up at the moment. So what I know though, I have used Amazon Drive personally in the past, and then I stopped using it or paying for it, and they did give me ample warning that the service is going to be turned off. You will not be able to access your photos anymore from this and this date onwards. But I think they started sending me reminders about 6 months before.
Wow, that's great.
So I had plenty of time if I needed to get everything out of the cloud and store it elsewhere before they turn it off. So that was really good. I was actually really impressed with that.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Have you experienced Amazon Drive?
I've only looked into it. I don't use Amazon Drive, so I use the iCloud photo library. So my cloud service for that is through the Mac process. But no, I haven't used it. Yeah, I haven't used that one. But just what we looked into. So, but that's great. I mean, I think the thing that comes to mind for me, for people listening, would be, if you are going to use something like that Amazon Drive, just always be aware of, keep a jot down a journal note of what email address you've used, just to make sure that you get those email notifications if it is going to be used as a backup, and and if you're paying for services, just make sure that you know what those parameters are and just keep a track of them.
Yeah, and also you can use Amazon Drive to automatically upload your phone photos from your camera roll.
Yep.
That I've used that in the past as well, while I was traveling. So I would have a backup while I'm on the road. Of course, that only works when you've got Wi-Fi. Somewhere when you come to the hotel in the evening or something, and you upload everything. So it's a backup. And that worked fine too. So it always depends on your settings.
Fantastic.
So,
very good.
Another question, Fiona, I know you're really good with that one.
Yeah.
To answer that, how do I keep order on the mobile phone with all the pictures, screenshots, and so on?
Okay. So, look, that is a great question. And again, it is going to be a little bit different for how, which apps that you're using for people that they're using.
Mm.
But I really would encourage people to have a look through what the features of each of the apps are that they're using, and say in the Mac world and that environment, the photos, even with the new update that's been done
Mhm.
recently, it really, they have so many great sort of pre-organized ways to manage those photos. And so that means when you go into the views, you can look through and you can just see all the screenshots. There's a button there. There's a button for all the videos or all the selfies and
Yeah.
all the panoramics or the slow-mo or things like that. But as far as even the dates or the way that they're organized, they're already preset. So
Mhm.
um, depending on your own privacy choices with location services, I actually like that map feature a lot. And I
Mm.
recently even just used it to find a photo that I'd taken with my daughter and I at just in a shopping centre, that she was looking at something to purchase. And I
Mhm.
wanted to have a look at it again, and I could zoom straight into the shop in the shopping centre of where I was at.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
so helpful,
yeah.
to be able to have that feature on there, and it's
Mm.
another way of again really organising them. But as far as
Yeah.
albums, I think there's such a great way to do that. I would really recommend people just, pop a quick photo straight into an album if that's something that
Mhm.
that they would like
Mhm.
to do to organise their photos as well.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so I think, depending on if people want to clear out their screenshots, that's something definitely that they can do very easily.
Mhm.
And keep your notes somewhere else, in a different system, either in their phone, in Evernote, or a different management tool or something like that,
Mm.
instead of on the phone, to keep the phone clean, so to speak.
Yeah, to keep it out. I mean,
Yeah.
screenshots don't need to be in a family photo collection, really.
No, they
They're
don't.
usually reminders of, stuff we wanna do or buy or go to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So,
Mm.
yeah, so I think that there's some great ways, some using the features that are on those apps. Just Google a few different YouTube sort of
Mm.
talks about just showing you around them, and even to the provider Apple themselves, they have some great tutorials on there as to how to use the features, and just familiarize yourself with them. And a lot of that can be done right there on the spot on your
Mm.
phone.
I think you're also using an additional app to add keywords to photos?
Yes, yes, I do. So I also use it's called View Exif,
Mhm.
and it's an app that allows me to then also add keywords in. It's a feature that's not automatically in the Apple photo program,
Mm.
but it pulls all the photos that you've taken from your phone. It automatically loads them into this app, and you can add in the title or a description. You can add in a keyword of um, a particular, holiday or something like that. But then that just it stays with the photo if you're going to export them out. So this is something then to just be mindful of if you're looking at
Mhm.
not keeping them in there, or not just using the albums feature to
Yep.
sort your photos and to keep them in order, then that's another feature that you can look at as well. So it's called View EXIF, View EXIF. Yeah, it's a great
Okay, yep, yep. That's really good, yeah.
it's fantastic.
So hopefully in the future, it would be lovely that if on the, phone apps you can all do that without additional apps.
Exactly, if it was all in one. I think
Yeah,
it'll go that way eventually. There's always
hopefully,
new
yeah.
things that are coming in. So,
But the good thing is that it actually embeds the information into the photo, that's good.
yeah.
And not all do that, so it's worth
No, that's true.
testing,
You can do a
yeah.
lot of work and put them all in albums and everything, and
Mhm.
then, you got to move them out to something else, and you've got to redo it all
Mm.
again. So it's
Mhm.
just definitely something to be mindful of. All right. So
Cool.
another listener question for you, Chantal, is what is the iOS storage optimization feature, and what does it mean for my photos?
Okay. Yes. So this is one obviously for iPhone users. um, Now this is only applicable when you have turned on the iCloud Photos library, which means that whenever you take a photo with your iPhone, it will be sent up to the cloud, to your iCloud photo library. And when you've got a computer also connected to that account, it will automatically download that photo to your computer. So it's all synchronizing. That's the ideal, so to speak, if you want to make things automatic. Now, a lot of people, especially when you do that with the iCloud Photos library, that means you've got your whole photo collection on your phone, which these days, it's not unusual for people to have 30, 40, 50, 60,000 photos in their collection. And the phone storage just can't hold that. It's too big. So what it does when you turn that iCloud photo library feature on,
Optimization.
you get the choice to say, I want to store original size photos still on my phone, or I want optimized storage. So when you turn on optimized storage, that means that on your phone, when it starts running out of space, it will minimize the picture that is actually stored on your phone. The original size is always going to be in iCloud Photos library. And when you download a photo on your phone, it will automatically download the original size. So it's a bit, it sounds really complicated, but
it does,
it's
but it's seamless. Literally, you can click on the photo, and I think if someone's listening to this and they've clicked on a photo on their iPhone and they've seen the wheel go around on the bottom right-hand corner of the photo, that just means that your phone is pulling down the high resolution image of that photo. And so that was optimized on your phone. And as soon as you click onto the next photo, it just automatically goes straight back up, and the high-res image isn't then stored back on your phone. So it's a constant transferring of information to make it the best sort of sizing use on your phone at the time.
And I really like that for the phones. Where I find one needs to be really mindful of that too is at the other end, when you download your photos from the iCloud photo library to your Mac. And you basically do the same thing. You choose whether it should download originals to your Mac or the optimized storage. And sometimes you do have to choose the optimized because your hard drive is actually too small to hold the complete collection. But then you got to be mindful that you don't have an original size copy of your photo
anywhere.
Anywhere, only in the cloud. And again, remember, we don't really recommend that. You should have an original size photo in your possession. So ideally, you always on your Mac, you turn on download originals, because then you back up, hopefully you back up your computer, your Mac, and you've got a backup copy of the original sized photo. That's what you want. And it's just something to be mindful of. Also, if you ever download photos manually from your phone to a computer and you've turned on optimized storage, you might not, chances are that some of your photos are smaller versions and maybe only thumbnail versions. And then and you might only realize that much later when you say, oh, why is this photo so small?
Yes, that's
or
true.
Whatever. So this is just something to be mindful of.
So I personally, for my setup, I do storage optimization. I turn that feature on my phone. Then I have the one on my Mac. I have download the originals. And so once I've taken a photo with my phone, then that automatically will go to the the Photos program on my Mac, which is the full original copy. So that then gets downloaded when I have, opened up my Photos program.
Yeah.
That then downloads the original onto my external hard drive. And then I also have a laptop, and I optimize my photos on that laptop.
Right. Okay.
And so I can see them on my Mac, on my laptop, or on my phone at any time. But I know that my actual full resolution copy is the one on the Mac with the external hard drive.
So that's like your master file, so
Yeah.
to speak. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
So that's how that works. Yeah. Very
Okay,
good.
so we've got one last reader or listener question.
Yeah.
So, how can I make sure all my devices are syncing?
All right. So again, this is really talking back in with what we were just speaking about. Say with on a Mac, obviously that's talking about say iCloud and all of the different features of iCloud. So that's your phone and your calendar and your contacts and everything like that, as well as your photos. But really, it can be a challenge because, it depends on the type of phone and, which if you've got an Android or an iPhone, and which options you choose, and the devil is in the detail of the settings. It really can be a challenge because it just comes down to the right settings. And so you want to make sure that you're just across what those settings mean to be able to make sure that you're syncing. So we would even suggest perhaps that you just get just a sheet of paper and mind map it out. What are you wanting to sync on from your phone? Obviously, we're talking about photos here, but that could be any other types of things to make sure that things are syncing across all your different devices. But it really does come down to those settings. So, that could be in a Dropbox setup, or we've talked a lot about all the different sort of options of syncing and programs. We were just talking about Amazon before as well. But really, you make sure that I really encourage you to get this part right. And take a bit of time to make those decisions as to which setup you're going to have, and check it. And just, if you need to take your phone to somebody else as well, just, a friend or family member, and just say, can you just check through my settings on my syncing? Because when you've got your head in it so much, sometimes you're clicking off onto different settings, and then you've got to make sure that you've also got the settings turned on a different app or something like that.
Yes.
Then it's an idea. How about you? What sort of experience do you have with this syncing across all these different devices, Chantal?
Not too bad actually. What I keep coming across though is a challenge that is a bit tricky too, with syncing devices. If you're a one person, that's sort of easy.
Yeah.
In a way, but it becomes a bit more tricky when you're a family or a couple and you would like to access the same photos.
Yeah.
Because what you just mentioned was, if you've got an iPhone and a Mac and you move in that Apple ecosystem, it's easy to set it all up. However, that only works with your Apple ID. And everyone has a different Apple ID. People hardly ever share their Apple IDs because that means you would share all your contacts, all, everything.
Yeah.
Which is not really what you do. There are very few people who do that, but normally, that's not normally done. So, and you can't merge these two. Like it's like so separate. But as a family, you might want to have your photos together and have only one photo hub. So there are, of course, solutions, but it's not as
it's not
easy
ideal.
as,
Even the shared album.
no, it's not
Yeah,
ideal.
you
It's
can turn
very
on.
limiting.
That's right.
Yeah,
It is. It
yeah.
is. And there's always manual steps along the way that you have to do.
Yes, yeah. So that's what the challenge I come across often. How do we share our photos as a family? Because then the syncing doesn't, well, it still works, but only for one person. So oftentimes it's actually the wife who's sort of the photo manager and looks after everything. But you cannot automate it as easily as when you're just one person.
Yep.
So that's the challenge I see
It
often.
is a challenge, yeah.
Yeah, and also what I come across often that people confuse synchronizing and backing up.
Yes, we
And
did a
it's
whole
not the
episode,
same.
yeah,
Yeah, I know.
podcast on that one.
Yeah, yeah. So if you need more information about that, we would encourage you to go back and find that episode where we talked exactly about that topic, and it's an ongoing challenge. It comes up all the time.
Definitely. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So, yeah, with one little click, things
Yeah.
can go wrong, unfortunately.
I know.
And also things change, you just mentioned the upgrade that Apple iPhones did the other day. Things change. So after upgrading, we also always encourage you to go back into your settings and double check that everything is still the same way and works properly.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Wonderful.
Right.
Well, I think that answered everything.
Yeah, that's it for today.
Yeah.
And so, as always, we do encourage and invite you to get back to us to post on Facebook or email us and ask you questions. We're here to answer them. We don't know everything, but we're going to give our best. So don't be shy and connect with us on the social media accounts and let us know what your questions are.
Yeah. And just a shout out to anyone listening from the presentation that we just recently did. We did a presentation in at a local library. And so just a shout out and a hello to anyone that's listening from there as well. We get listener questions from a range of different areas and so please, we're here to help. So that's great.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
All
right. Thank you. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Thank you. See you next time. We hope you have enjoyed this episode of DIY Photo Organising and found some inspiration, useful tips and strategies to support your photo projects.
We'd love to invite you to pop over to our Facebook page, DIY Photo Organising, and we welcome your questions, feedback and any future topics that you'd like us to cover. If there is someone you'd love to share this with, please click on share to help others take control of their photos too. Remember, have a look through our show notes for links to helpful information. I'm Fiona from Photo Helper.
And I'm Chantal from Simply in Order Photo Organising. And remember, we believe in you and you can do this.